And finally, talking about warm-hearted ends, let's talk about abortion in the state, because I want to give you this one from Massachusetts, the Democrats again. Democrat Governor Maura Healey signed sweeping Massachusetts bill allowing abortions up to birth. Yeah. Here we go. Yep. Democratic, in other words, Democrat Governor Maura Healey was met with applause. That would be from living human beings who weren't ripped to shreds inside their mother's wombs. And smiles as she signed away Massachusetts's gestational limits on abortion, making the deep blue state the 10th to permit the procedure up to birth. Under the, check out this title for Orwell, prioritizing patient access to care, because, you know, taking the innocent human life is care. Health care workers will have greater discretion in determining whether to perform an abortion later in pregnancy without facing legal penalties under the state's previous restrictions. Healey said the law is intended to ensure families facing medical complications late in pregnancy can abort their babies in Massachusetts rather than having to travel out of state. Well, yeah, you know, of course. Those complications can include maternal health complications and fatal diagnoses. So let's take an opportunity to go into the classroom for a minute and talk 14th Amendment. And then we're going to incorporate a lot of things into this. First off, 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause stipulates that all people have to be protected equally, not treated equally. It's not treatment when the government is handing out something. But the one handout that people depict as not a handout, the government protection, which still is a handout of a service, they say, and it's not possible that it can ever be equal, but they pretend that if the government is going to provide police and a judicial system that will punish people for harming other human beings, that everybody be protected equally, so that, for example, when they came out of the Civil War and they were in Reconstruction and certain states saw people lynching black people, and those guys who might have been captured weren't tried, they were allowed to be let free, that there would be equal protection for the black folks, just like the white folks, if the white guy was lynched, right? Okay. So there you go. That's the premise of the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law of humans who might be attacked by humans. Okay. So next step on the syllogism, second step, what is a fetus? Is it human? Is it being? Kathy Ireland, a Christian woman on Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher years ago on ABC, brought it up. Millions of people got to hear it, and it was very wise. Other people had already heard it, of course, amongst their families, their churches, wherever. But she got that out to a very good audience, and she said, it's very simple. 2 questions. Is the fetus human? Upon conception, is it human? Yes, it is. It has distinct human DNA. Apart from the mother, apart from the father, it has its own DNA. Is it being? What else is it? It is on the great sparked arc of start and natural finish. If an individual, another human being, steps in and intervenes and brings about the demise before the natural finish that God decided, that person is taking a human life. Human life. So then we ask, again, the pro-choice people, so-called, if you favor statism and you believe that there is a place for the state to punish people, arrest people, police people for killing other people or harming other people, say a 16-year-old on his bike and gets run down by a drunk driver, or a 24-year-old working behind the counter at a 7-Eleven gets shot by somebody, right? If there is a place for the statist leftist who is pro-abortion, if there is a place for the state to have a police force that demands my neighbor's money to operate, and a justice system that also unjustly demands my neighbor's money to operate, then at what point and what human beings, because we're seeing that they are supposed to be protecting humans from aggression by other humans in the store 24, what humans are protected and what aren't? Because the 14th Amendment mandates that all human beings must be protected equally. So former Senator Bob Smith brought this up. He said, you don't need to pass a pro-life amendment. All you need to do is apply the 14th Amendment as it was understood when it was written. And if states have statutes that punish people and prohibit murder and the taking of human life, they have to protect everyone equally, all human beings equally. And there is no denying that a fetus upon the moment of conception is human and is being. It doesn't matter one's opinion about convenience or the morality of abortion or anything like that. You could be a person who favors murdering human beings, and you would still have to agree that the fetus is a human being, because it's not anything else. It's human and it's being. It doesn't matter what you think about the taking of it later, the second part of the question. It just so happens that constitutionally, the second part of the question is, well, if your state has laws, again, there's no moral or ethical analysis of this. This is just merely logic and mathematics in a way. This is an if-then statement. If you've got the 14th Amendment and if the state has statutes that supposedly protect people from aggression by other human beings, then the state, according to the 14th Amendment, must protect everyone equally. Therefore, abortion would have to be illegal in every state. Unless the left-wingers are willing to say, well, I think you're right. I think there should be no government running a police force and a justice system to punish anybody. I have no right to demand that for my own protection from somebody else, because now I'm the aggressive person demanding money for my protection, for the services that I think I'm going to get for protection. That's all the state is. It's just people demanding protection off the backs of other people. And then it just grows and grows and grows. That's all. You could pare down Locke's second treatise to that, but he didn't want to do that. He had to go through all these hoops and logic circles that never went anywhere. So that's what's going on in Massachusetts, everybody. So if you ever run into a pro-choice person, so-called pro-choice, ask them, do you support the state? Why do you support the state? Do you believe the state is there to protect people against aggression by other people? What is a fetus? And then run from there and see what they think. Just say, will you be consistent? Because if you're not consistent about the fetus being protected by the statutes, then what other human beings? A 90-year-old on life support? Pull the plug? Kill them willingly because they're expensive. I don't know. Euthanasia? They do it in England. They literally used the bodies of fetuses in the furnaces of hospitals in England. This is documented for heat, as a heat source. And of course, we know that they had the Liverpool Protocol, or otherwise known as Liverpool Care Pathway, where they would take older people or younger people who might have been close to death or might have had terminal illnesses, but still had time to live, and they would starve them and not give them hydration and kill them, along with a bunch of morphine, knock them out to free up the bed so it's not as expensive. Just look up Liverpool Pathway, Liverpool Care Pathway or Protocol, and you'll find it. I put it in my store at Whitechapel before the pandemic, so-called. That was when I had the 6-foot distancing thing. So that's what's going on over there, and I thought that might be interesting for you. I also want to give you this on central planning and healthcare and medicine. But before we do that, I want to get a little theme and check in with you. Let's do a little music, everybody. Let's hear from none other than, yes, they are on tour, The Damned.